In the city of Boston, Jason is the protagonist of the movie and a die-hard fan of martial arts with posters of famous fighters on his wall to prove it. On a fateful day, he visits a pawn shop owned by Old Hop to buy some DVDs for his collection, when he sees a storage room where relics are being kept and becomes intrigued by a golden staff he finds on the floor. Hop tells him that the weapon has been under his care since his grandfather opened the store a century ago. He also mentions that his grandfather had been waiting for a man to come and pick it up to return it to the rightful owner, but the man never came. Jason tells Hop that he's seen the staff in his dreams, but the old man doesn't pay him any mind and ushers him out of the storage room, offering the boy 5 Bruce Lee movies for a very small price. On his way home, Jason gets bullied by a gang for being a fan of Kung Fu, and when they discover he hangs out with Hop who cashes checks in his free time, they figure out a way to earn some money by robbing him. Later, the gang force Jason to knock on the door even though it's late and the shop is closed. Hop lets him in, thinking he has come to buy something, and the leader starts to interrogate him and demands to know where he keeps all the money, but he does not answer. When the gang searches the premises, Hop takes the staff and attacks one of the gang members, and the leader shoots him in the chest. The dying Hop bequeaths the staff to Jason and urges him to return it to the rightful owner. Jason gets chased by the gang through the street and up to the roof where he meets a dead end, and the gang leader is about to pull the trigger when the staff magically pushes Jason and causes him to fall off. When he wakes up, he finds himself wearing some ancient robes and discovers he's been transported to ancient China. A few moments later, armored soldiers arrive and attack the people ruthlessly. Jason makes an effort to run away but is spotted by the soldiers who start chasing him. The men recognize the staff and try to take it away from him. But he is saved by the arrival of a drunk wanderer named Luyen, who makes quick work of the soldiers with his kung fu skills in spite of his drunken state. Funny enough, Luyen understands English and brings Jason to a safe place where he tells him that he came through the gate of no gate, because he carries something very special, the golden staff. Luyen then reveals a story about the rivalry between the Monkey King and the Jade Warlord. The Monkey King was once an unstoppable warrior who managed to defeat the Jade army. Once every 500 years, the Jade Emperor would host an event where the elixir of immortality was shared, and on one event, the Monkey King came uninvited, which made the Jade Warlord furious. He demanded that the Monkey King bow down to him but got played instead. This led the Warlord to challenge him to a duel to prove who was stronger, and the Monkey King accepted. However, after a good number of attempts and even when using his magic power, the Jade Warlord realized he was no match for the Monkey King as long as he had his staff, so he requested that they both put their weapons away in favor of fighting hand-to-hand, and the overconfident Monkey King agreed. This gave the Jade Warlord the opportunity to use a spell that turned the Monkey King into stone, but he managed to send his staff out of the kingdom so it couldn't be taken and has been frozen in stone ever since, waiting for the day when his weapon is returned. Luyen tells Jason that the only way he can get home is for him to bring the staff to the Monkey King and free him from his prison. After the story is finished, the two are confronted by soldiers who demand that the staff be handed over. Jason declines, so the men attack him. Luyen fights once more and they defeat the men together, with Luyen teaching Jason how to use the staff. When they are surrounded, they're joined by a girl named Golden Sparrow who helps them, and they all escape into the forest with stolen horses. On their way to the 5-element mountain, Luyen declines to join them on the journey because they will have to go through the deserts where there is no wine, and claims that wine is his source of power and without it, he is powerless. Not wanting him to leave, Jason asks Luyen to train him in Kung Fu. He starts his training by swinging the staff around on the grass. Meanwhile, the Warlord is informed of the staff's reappearance. Infuriated, he executes the messenger and orders for the witch to be summoned. The following day, Jason wakes up to discover that both Luyen and Golden Sparrow are missing. Before he knows it, a silent monk on a white horse ambushes him and swiftly seizes the staff before disappearing into the distance. Jason and his companions pursue the thief and eventually reach a temple where Luyen enters alone and confronts the monk only to be ignored. Losing his patience, he provokes a fight that leads to an intense duel where the silent monk proves to be a formidable fighter with his kung fu skills matching Luyen's. Both warriors clash in an intense battle over the staff, with the monk unleashing his praying mantis technique and Luyen countering with the crouching tiger. After a long and grueling fight, the staff is finally knocked aside, allowing Jason to reclaim it. Once the dust settles, the monk reveals that he is on a quest to find the seeker of the staff and soon realizes that Jason is the one he's been searching for, which prompts him to burst into unexpected laughter. With his search complete, the monk joins the group and they resume their journey to the mountain. Meanwhile, the witch begins interrogating the owners of the restaurant that Jason and Luyen had previously visited so she can get a lead on their whereabouts. During their journey, Lu Yen and the monk take it upon themselves to teach Jason Kung Fu. However, it's clear he still has a long way to go, as his mentors easily outmatch him in training. Despite the challenges, time passes quickly and Jason dedicates himself to intense practice, determined to grow into a stronger, more capable version of himself. One evening he asks Golden Sparrow about her past, and she solemnly reveals that her father was once a government official who opposed the Jade Warlord. In retaliation, the Warlord's army executed her parents and razed her village to the ground. Now she seeks vengeance and carries a jade dart capable of even killing an immortal. The group finally reach the vast desert where they begin their journey across its harsh terrain. They stop by to rest in a cave to seek shelter from a fierce windstorm before continuing their journey the next day, but now dangerously low on water. Because he claims to be a Taoist immortal, Lu Yen is challenged by the monk to summon rain. With his eyes closed, Lu Yen performs an incantation and to his surprise, a small sprinkle begins. He believes it worked, but it's just the monk peeing on him from atop a rock. From that vantage point, the monk spots the end of the desert. After making it through, they are ambushed by the witch and her army. She offers to return Jason home in exchange for the staff, but he refuses, so she reveals that the warlord has promised her the elixir of immortality if she retrieves the weapon and then orders her men to attack. Though the group defeats many of the soldiers, they are quickly overwhelmed and flee toward the mountain. During the escape, the witch shoots an arrow that strikes Lu Yen in the back, knocking him from his horse and leaving him gravely wounded. The group find refuge in a monastery where they learn the truth. Lu Yen is not an immortal as he had claimed, and he admits to Jason that he failed the test to become one. The head of the monastery explains to Jason that the only way to save Lu Yen is to obtain the elixir of immortality which lies beyond the border between heaven and earth, guarded by the Jade Army. The monk suggests an alternative that involves waiting for 2 days until the moonless night, but Jason insists on going immediately to save his friend. Not waiting for anyone, he sets out alone for the Jade Palace the next day. Upon arrival, he is granted entry after presenting the staff and offers it to the warlord in exchange for the elixir, but with only 1 dose available and the witch also vying for it, the warlord proposes a duel between the traveler and the witch. Jason is easily defeated, and the witch hands the staff over to the warlord. Just as he is about to be executed, the monk, Golden Sparrow, and their monastery allies arrive, igniting a chaotic battle. As the battle rages in the palace, the Jade Warlord unleashes his magic and transforms the palace fountain into a sea of fire before throwing the staff into it. But the monk manages to retrieve the weapon and engages the warlord in combat. Meanwhile, Golden Sparrow fights the witch, allowing Jason to retrieve the elixir and throw it to Lu Yen, who immediately drinks it and is instantly revived. He leaps into the battle and clashes with the witch while the monk continues his struggle against the warlord. Amidst the chaos, the monk passes the staff to Jason, who uses it to free the imprisoned Monkey King. It's then revealed that the monk was actually a clone of the Monkey King, created from a single strand of his hair, having been sent to find and protect the staff. Now fully restored, the Monkey King takes up arms against the warlord in a climactic duel. During the fight, Golden Sparrow attempts to slay the warlord with a jade dart, but he casts a devastating spell that kills her instantly. Enraged by her death, Jason takes the jade dart and plunges it into the warlord's chest, finally killing him and sending him plummeting into the hellfire pit. On the other side of the palace, Lu Yen gains the upper hand against the witch and ultimately defeats her by hurling her off the balcony. With the battle over, the Jade Emperor returns from his 500 years of meditation and praises Jason for fulfilling the prophecy. The traveler begs him to revive Golden Sparrow, but the Emperor solemnly explains that he cannot, as she had chosen her destiny long ago. When it's time for him to return home, Jason bids farewell to his friends and mentors before being sent back to his own time and awakens on the same pavement where he originally fell. The gang leader moves to attack him again, but this time, Jason is stronger and easily defeats the thug in a swift and decisive battle. While the rest of the gang members flee, Hop is revealed to have survived the gunshot and is being taken into the ambulance. With a faint smile, he whispers to Jason that he is immortal, echoing the lessons he learned in the other world before being taken away. Soon after, Jason crosses paths with a girl who bears an uncanny resemblance to Golden Sparrow and happens to work in a nearby shop called the Golden Sparrow. As the movie ends, Jason commits himself to continuing his kung fu training and improving his fighting skills, his journey having left a lasting impact on his life.